Good morning, traders. Paul here with Gamma Edge. Today is Friday, the 7th of October. Let's get started. Pause your players here, read to the bottom. If you agree, hit that play button. Summary for today. Short-term signal reverse to cash, chop chop. We've had a little bit of feedback on this. This is the nature of an intraday signal that we evaluate, and it's going to go back and forth. We understand your frustration. That's why we say when you are paper trading this thing, make sure you are sized incredibly small. It is prone to failure. We are in a overall down market, and that is indicated by the intermediate term signal being off and the long-term signal being in a mixed state, neither long nor short, or both long and short, depending on how you look at it, but it is stalled. So when all of this occurs, you should not be out over your skis. I know everyone knows that, but this is kind of the nature of the beast. When you follow the shortest term signal, when you try to quote unquote call the top or call the bottom, you could be wrong, and that's the market nature. On the positive side, plus GEX has moved up to 4,400 from 4,300. We thought yesterday would be sticky at 4,300. Looking at the overnight OI changes, it appears that we had quite a bit of monetization in calls. So when you see the calls being monetized like that yesterday, we are going to color that short-term bearish. On the downside support, minus GEX or minus Gamma exposure remains at 3,600, solid as a rock. If anything, we are seeing more puts being opened down there as people target that downside area. So just be aware of that. So a little more weakness above and pretty strong growth on the downside. 0DTE, it's widened, shifted lower, but that's kind of the way transition works in the 0DTE, and is not much of a surprise here. The 1DTE, which will be Monday, end of day Monday, the upside range is 3,800, but it's really, really weak. We're not putting a lot of credit in there, but just be aware there is a potential that if we see calls go in preparation over the weekend, we might see a push, and that upside target would be 38. As we've been saying literally for over a week now to a broken record, we remain on the left side of the SPX transition range, and we have failed to advance. And we've been saying that failure to advance is definitely going to show the action that we've been seeing, this whipsaw back and forth. Additionally, overnight, 4,000 has grown in net put gamma, and this is despite it holding the distinction for being the SPX COI, call open interest dominant strike. Those two are at odds with each other, but the 4,000 in put gamma is short term, whereas the COI doesn't have a time frame. It is the strike where most of the calls are concentrated. So just be aware of that there is short term positioning for the downside with a ceiling at 4,000. When we take a look at the market model, here was the recent advance up, end of day one, end of day two, a little bit of weakness here. This is obviously yesterday, Thursday action. So Wednesday action had a little bit of a pullback, ended the day stronger, which is good. So if you're doing end of day evaluation, this is still the making progress on the market. Yesterday we saw a little bit of that pullback, that hold into about the 11:30, 12 o'clock range Eastern time, and then we sold off into the afternoon. And when these short-term moving averages cross each other, and when the bold cumulative tick pulls down, we take the opposite side of wherever we are. So if we were on the long side, we would go to cash in this case, and if we were pushing hard below, kind of historic ribbon where we are here, then we would actually take a look at paper trades on the short side. Short term, this is risk off. So we are looking as a short term reset here that you see, and the long term is improving, continuation. But if we get the short term bolded cumulative tick continuing down and breaking below the level here, then everything's going to turn off and reset. So the intermediate term timer will be cash to short, the short term timer will remain cash to short, and the long term timer will completely reset to a cash to short side. Key levels for today, as I said, 4,400. We've moved up from yesterday. Fairly strong levels, and we're seeing this growth, like I said, of at 4,000 on the negative side. Downside's the same. Really, really high expected move today. Could be because of pending news. We'll see at 8:30 what happens. But in general, the key takeaway here is expect some volatility today. 0DTE, kind of highlighting some of these key levels you should be watching when we publish the PVI charts. Transition range here in the blue box, you can see it from 37.05 up to about 37.60. Pretty weak back and forth area. Above us, we parked right at this 37.45 range. 37.44.52 is our closing value yesterday, and you can see we're right in that at a base where the delta notional starts flipping back and forth. But more green down here, more red up here. We've got to see more continued calls go in overhead to start really making upward progress here, and we haven't been seeing it. On the 1DTE, which will be the end of day Monday, pretty weak in general. This is the 1DTE transition zone. It's more defined than it was yesterday. The key takeaway is that below 3680 or so, things get kind of ugly. But again, we've got this back and forth, and really the 1DTE structure just looks like very weak either direction. To the upside, 3800 looks to be a realistic target. Even though the expected move, as you saw, was in the 4% range, which would put it way up here. There's no way we're going up there today, and doubtful by the end of day Monday. But we'll wait and see what the weekend brings us. Taking a look at the final structure, not a lot of annotations today. It's very mixed in the delta notionals. We are seeing weakness grow in, more puts come in on the downside. The level right here at this 37.50, 37.55, this has been the base of transition for a while. Here's this 37.35 range. And you can see some of the gamma magnitudes are getting pretty significant even from where we are here. So I want to watch these key levels to the downside. These will act as temporary support levels or areas of liquidity. If we get spit through these things due to the magnitudes of the gamma, you could expect us to get pushed down harder, and the more we fall, you can see the more the delta notional gets more and more negative, and that's important because the dealer models are going to flip there. Finally, taking a look at the SPX structure, we've moved up, as I said, from 43, which is right here, up to 44. Pretty big change. And think about this. Spot price fell, yet this grows. And so this was because of the monetization that we saw here. I know you guys may feel this is pedantic, but the key takeaway in this is that you need to understand why these could shift as price falls or as price comes up. And there's a couple things. Falling away should reduce these levels, so when you see them grow, you gotta go dig into the data and kind of figure out what's going on. And so part of it is the monetization that occurred at 43. We're right here, transition range. We're not seeing a net reduction on this, and this is a really poor structure for advancing. So until we can get above this and start seeing this fill in more uniformly, we just don't think it's in the stars, not in the short term. 3,600 to the downside, 3,000 POI, put open interest for the SPX structure, and you can see the distribution is pretty significant. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for improvement, or tell us what you like, come and join us. GammaEdge.us, click on the pricing tab, that'll take you to a sign-up page. Get you in 14-day free trial, all the tools turned on, lots of great traders. It's a good place, it's a fun place. Gamma Edges on Twitter with an S, please follow us, we post there. And then here on YouTube, of course, let me know if you like today's content by smashing that like button. It's an immediate feedback to me that I'm providing value to you. And of course, subscribe, because myself, Taylor, Michael post videos, and we want to notify you next time we have something to put out. Thanks, everyone. Make it a great Friday. Make it a great weekend, especially if you have Monday off. Bond markets are closed. Cash markets are open, to my knowledge. Anyways, hope to see you in the Discord, and have a good one. Take care.